is up, ballers? It's your host, Micah Gatewood, and welcome to the Ballers Briefing Podcast. I have a great series I'm starting today, my first ever series, and I can't wait to share with y'all. I'm calling it the Top 10 Series. And we all love debates, everyone has their great debates on who the greatest players of all time is in the NBA, greatest everything. And with this series, I'm going to go down many things like point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, dunkers, centers, clutch games, performances, and all those other things. But first, I'm going to start off with the point guards. And you may think I'm going to start off from 1 to 5, but nah, we're going to start from 10 to 6. And then go in the next episode, I'll go from 5 to 1. Starting off, the first player, number 10, Chris Paul. Now, a quote from Lee Jenkins describes Paul as, "Paul is a lion-hearted leader, grinning off the court while driving his teammates on it. CP3 surely isn't the strongest, fastest, or most accurate point guard of his era, but he may be the smartest." And I wholeheartedly agree with Lee right there, saying that Chris Paul is indeed one of the smartest point guards I've ever seen of all time. And that's why he's still in the league today. It's like his 20th year. And my thoughts is Chris Paul is truly actually one of the best point guards of the modern era. And he's a great defender, averaging over 2 steals per game his whole career, which is insane to me. And being a 6-time, which actually led him being to a 6-time steal leader in the league throughout his whole career, and also being a very unselfish player, dishing out over almost 10 assists per game throughout his entire career. And he led the league in assists for 3 years, from the 2008 to 2009 season, the 2014 to 2015 season, and in recent years, the 2022 season. And adding on, he's an excellent leader. That's why he's in the league today. He's one of the greatest leaders from the point guard position of all time, because he helps out not only himself, he helps out many rookie point guards who's trying to get intel and insight on how to be a better point guard and better leader in the NBA as official. Because the point guard, we all know it as everyone wants to be the point guard unless they have to do the leadership stuff. And a lot of kids nowadays don't want to do that leadership stuff. But Chris Paul is the opposite of that. He's one of the most unselfish players I've seen. And he proves that by telling his rookies, like right now, he's teaching Victor Wembanyama on how his center, Victor Wembanyama, who's now a second-year veteran in the league, on how to be a better player and have a better mindset and proper mindset when it comes to the game of basketball and in life as well. He's a great pioneer to that. Moving on, number 9, we have Gary the Glove Payton. Now, Gary Payton in history is one of the only point guards in the NBA to win the Defensive Player of the Year. And it's no doubt, if you're the only point guard to win the Defensive Player of the Year, you got to be a problem on defense. And that's exactly what Gary Payton was. He got his infamous nickname, the Glove, during the 1993 playoffs, from his insane defense, his insane trash talk too, and his great defense in steals and perimeter defense as well. Also, he's a very good prolific, goodness gracious, I can't speak words, prolific scorer, having many seasons when he was with the Seattle Supersonics, who are now the Oklahoma City Thunder, for those of you who don't know. And he averaged over 20 points a game throughout his years with the Seattle Supersonics. Also, he was very unselfish as well. I mean, all point guards have to be unselfish. I mean, if you're not, then what are you doing being point guard? But he also was a very, very prolific passer. And if you know Gary Payton, you definitely know his right-hand man, Shawn Kemp. And if you look at his highlights, it's most likely you're going to see an assist from Gary Payton to Shawn Kemp. And if you're not careful, Gary Payton will score too. You may think, oh yeah, okay, he's just a passer and a assister. You don't think he can score. There's a reason why he averages 20 points a game. Like, no doubt. He's a scorer too. But you better watch out, because if you go off and try to guard Sean Kemp, he could pull it up in your face or dunk on you. But if you try to guard up on him, he'll throw the lob right to Sean Kemp. And if you're in the way, well, you're gonna get caught on the poster. You're gonna be on ESPN, Sports Center. Well, they didn't have Sports Center, but you're gonna be in the top 10 coming soon. Now, does he deserve to be on the list? Absolutely. This dude is he's one of, like, even I looked up to him in some of my years while playing basketball. And I still do look up to him currently, because I'm now playing point guard and shooting guard. So I'm kind of, when it comes to him, I'm watching his highlights to be a better perimeter defender. But all in all, Gary Payton is one of the best defensive point guards and one of the best defensive players I've seen of all time from the guard position. Moving on to number 8. We're going real old school. We have Walt or Clyde Frazier. Now, you must ask, why do you call him Clyde? Clyde is actually his nickname. He got his nickname from his teammates. He was actually based off the appearance of Warren Beatty, I think that's what his name is, from the 1967 movie Bonnie and Clyde, which hence giving him, because if you actually look up a picture of him, he actually has the same afro and kind of mustache, little facial features of Clyde, of Walt Frazier, hence giving him that nickname. But Walt Frazier was no joke. In the late 1960s and early 70s, when he played for the New York Knicks, he was a problem. And like Gary Payton, didn't mention that from Gary Payton, going back to him for a little second. He is a 9-time All-Star, was also a 9-time All-Star, and a 9-time first-tier all-team NBA defensive team. That is ridiculous. And that's through like half his career. That's ridiculous. Being on that for nine times is crazy. Walt Frazier did get in the all-defensive teams too, but only six in his career. But still, actually 7, correction. But still, that is a lot. That's only 2 less than Gary Payton. That's insane. But throughout his career, he wasn't only just a defender. He was a great scorer and a great scorer, passer, and rebounder, actually, with his career showing stats being 18.9 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 6 assists as well. So basically, he was a great all-around point guard, which you see nowadays with a lot of people like Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Ja, Russ, like all those guards, and Derrick Rose too. I can't forget him either. They're all great examples of all-around guards, but Walt Frazier was one of the first, among others. But with him, he actually also averaged nearly 2 steals a game, just like Chris Paul. And it helped him to also become, hence why he's named in the 7 all-defensive first teams as well. And that's just ridiculous to me, because if you averaging 2, like, people think, man, you must be thinking, man, 2 steals ain't that much. 2 steals is actually really good. Same with blocks as well. If you get 1 or 2 blocks a game, that's actually ridiculous. You're a crazy good defender if you're stealing the ball twice in the game, because you don't usually get that many steals, because there's a lot of good dribblers. And, nowadays everybody wants to be Kyrie and try to sauce up and try to dribble around people and Steph Curry. Man, if you get a steal from them, that's crazy. And not let alone 2 steals or 3 or even more. That's crazy. That shows you really got some lockdown defense, and no one can really dribble the ball in front of you. They got to think twice. Now, moving on to number 7, Steve Nash. Now, man, if you watched the Phoenix Suns in the early 2000s, then you know exactly who Steve Nash is. Steve Nash, if you look it up in the dictionary, I bet you the definition of a point guard, Steve Nash will be in there. Though he's around like 6'2", 6'3", dude could pass like no other. He could be dribbling in the lane, going up on like 7-footers, but he'll see his people and he'll just throw it easy around. You will throw it around you, over you, and behind his back. He'll do some crazy, outlandish moves that'll make people just not only catch the audience in awe, but catch his teammates in awe because they might not expect it. But probably him being in practice doing those type of passes, they do expect it. And not only that this dude was in the 40, 50, 90 club. Now the 40, 50, 90 club is 40 being shooting over 40% from 3-point range, which is pretty average in the league. If you're higher than that, then you're a crazy good shooter. 50% from the whole entire field, just shooting overall. That's pretty accurate. You're making half your shots. You're pretty good at getting around the basket, being a good scorer. And 90%, the 90 being shooting over 90% from the free throw line. Now, you must think, sitting there, of course, people must be shooting. Almost everybody got to be shooting 90% from the free throw line. But you're pretty wrong. Mostly point guards are like in that range of shooting. Point guards and shooting guards. Sometimes small forwards too, if they're really that good. Like Larry Bird, for example. He was one of the people that actually did that. And with this club, only like 14 players have actually succeeded in being in this club. And some have actually done it multiple times. Steve Nash has done it 4 times, which is outlandish. That dude shot 40% from 3, 50% from the field, and 90% 4 times in his career? That's ridiculous. Like, can you stop him from scoring? Like, you might think just because of small stature, he's probably just passing. No, he was a very, very great 3-point shooter and free throw shooter. So there's a good chance in the clutch, you cannot, under no circumstance, take him to the free throw line. Because if you do, it's game over for you and your team. I'm telling you that right now. Also, he was a great player within the Suns, especially in that era, because it was not only him, he had a great forwards and other scorers on that team, like a young Amari Stoudemire, who was actually in his prime, and also Shawn Marion, aka the Matrix. But we'll get on all those guys later. But going on, number 6, Bob Cousy. Now, I'm not only 19 years old, and I only know Bob Cousy because of Bill Russell being in Bill Russell, because he was on the team with him. But I don't know Bill Russell. That's the only player I really know with the 50s, and also Will Chamberlain. But Bob Cousy was also a part of that Celtics team with him and Bill Russell. Crazy enough, he's an 8-time assist leader, while Steve Nash was actually a 6-time assist leader. But I don't know why Steve Nash is under Bob Cousy, because he's a 2-time MVP, and he was an MVP. Oh no, he was only for 1 year. That's crazy to me. He was MVP only in 1956, 1957, while Steve Nash was the 2006 MVP. My opinion, Kobe should have won it, because that dude dropped 81 points and he averaged 35 and he had that 81-point game. But I ain't gonna get off it. That's my dog. I love Kobe, but he kind of got robbed. But still, respect to Steve Nash, he got it. And I think 2005, I think the year before, but I could be wrong on that. But you can say that in the comments or whatever. But Bob Cousy is an 8-time NBA assist leader and also an MVP. He played in the 1950s and 60s, playing for the Celtics and the Royals, aka the Royals being the Sacramento Kings, which you all know now, Sacramento Kings, but they were called the Sacramento Royals. But him being on that team, he was the first. They called him the Magician. Now I know everybody wait, I thought Magic was the first person who was called a magician. No, actually, he was also called a magician. He was actually called the first magician. And he was the original point guard with an unpretended flair that attracted new audience to pro basketball. His open court playmaking was crucial to the Celtics dynasty. Now, another thing, I've been talking about passing for this whole time. That's another thing in basically the criteria of being the best point guard. You got to be a pass. You got to be a great playmaker. Because you can't create yourself or create your teammates open, then what good are you than just being a scorer? Because everyone can score the basketball, and everyone can score the basketball. But if you can do the little things and pass and create for your teammates and be very unselfish as a point guard, then you'll get really better recognition and you'll get better looks. That's what almost every one of these people on this list have shown. But some, of course, as you've seen, have more assist accolades than the other people. Hence with these two right here, because they were known for passing, also in scoring, but they're mainly known for passing. All right, y'all. That's going to be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it and tuned in. And let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with these numbers. Let me note this. This is coming from the Sports Illustrated Basketball's Greatest. I got this actually a few Christmases ago, and this book has been great. And shout out to this book. Shout out to Sports Illustrated too as well. You know, not getting sponsored. Shout out to Sports Illustrated. All this is copywritten and was published in 2014. So it may be a little biased, and I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, man, there should be this people on this people on this. Well, if you got an opinion on who should be on the list right now, or more people in history, put it in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all. God bless y'all. And the next episode, I'll be starting off with the top five point guards from 5 to 1. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all. God bless y'all. I'm Micah Gatewood signing out. Peace.